So have you learned something by now? Step outside and take a look around or open up some mail. Have you noticed how much, for example, you are funding the murdering of little kids, of babies in the womb? Remember, you used to be one. Ronald Reagan said that everybody that he's met that's pro-choice are people that have already been born. How self-serving is that? So does that matter? You might say it doesn't matter to me. That's okay. You have the right to think that. You have the freedom to think that. But it matters to God. God says that he hates abortion and that he's going to judge those who kill babies. Okay, this is clear in the Bible. You say, why are you talking about this? Well, it's one of the driving political forces of this current election cycle, abortion. So many ill-informed pastors and Christians say, we don't get involved in those things because they're politics. That's political stuff. Really? Do you know how that happened? Politicians ran into the church, took the topic of abortion and declared it to be a political issue, knowing that a weak, worthless, wimpy church would bow down and just leave the scene. The political world ran in and said, marriage is not a church issue, it's a political issue. And the church just collapsed and folded. As you can tell, I have no confidence at all in a church that is not a New Testament church. Why would I? Why would anybody? The church is to be the ground and pillar of all truth. The church is to be the entity by which the world is brought to the knowledge of God and also the conviction of God. The church, we are to be the most loved and the most hated people on earth because we're just like Jesus. That's what we're supposed to be like. So when somebody says, man, we just preach the gospel, we don't get involved in all that stuff that my people have to live through 7 days or 6 days a week, you're an idle shepherd. You may have a degree, you may have your doctorate in ministry, you may have all of that. You may come from a long line of preachers. That is so irrelevant. Unless you and I are being salt and light and effective in the culture, we have become good for nothing and to be cast out on the roadway and to be trampled by or under the foot of men. We would have lost our lampstand that has been removed from its holder, Jesus said, because it's become a candle without a light. Christian, this nation is dying if it's not already dead. Why? A dead church. This nation is reflecting the condition of the church today. You look around and you say, oh, it's so messed up, it's so gone, it's so lost. You know how it got that way? Because of a dead church, because of sleeping pulpits, because of people who were too coward to get involved and to say to the school board, the city council, the governor, the president, this cannot happen. This violates the heart of God. And you're going to make a decision right now. Do you do what God tells you to do, or are you going to do what Caesar tells you to do? Whoever you obey, that's your Lord. And if Caesar says, don't talk about these things anymore, you're forbidden to talk about these issues that we've taken from you and we've declared them to be political. If you just cower back into your corner and stay silent, you're complicit in the destruction and the attack against the will of God. I pray that you will find it within yourself as a believer, who I'm only speaking to believers right now, to get involved knowing that at any moment we can go to heaven by either rapture or by death. It's irrelevant. Until that happens, I'm going to let the light of the gospel so shine before men that when they see my good works on the day of judgment, they'll glorify my Father which is in heaven. Find out what the school board's doing. Find out what your governor's doing. Find out what your state assembly's doing. Find out what your city council is doing. Do you know who your county board of supervisors are? Are you praying for them? Are you watching how they vote? Make a difference. Speak up. Write a letter. Make a phone call. Shine your light. Oh no, yes, always preach the gospel. But I'm convinced you can walk and chew gum at the same time. We can preach the gospel and then we can be disciples. Let's do that to His glory.